Let's talk about, sir, the program. How did the program aspect of this and 60th NRYLI
Mhm.
differ from the NRYLIs that you were
Yeah,
accustomed to?
this year's NRYLI was actually a work between the technical working group of the Knights of Rizal and that of the Rizal Center Foundation, Heritage Foundation, headed by former Supreme Commander Pablo Trillana. The Rizal Center Foundation is actually a foundation that was created to inculcate Rizal as a prominent person, as a prominent leader, and also taking into consideration the social the sustainable development goals of the United Nations. So we're taking Rizal, the Rizal aspect, the Rizalian traits into a global perspective together with the SDGs. This is why this and Riley, we talked about Jose Rizal as an exemplar in SDGs while he was in exile in Dapitan. Sustainable development growth. He had education. He had water. He had livelihood. He had a good community that he was starting, and even in governance, even and people don't realize that when Rizal was exiled in Dapitan was the border of nothingness because the Spaniards never conquered Mindanao. They were always rebuffed by the Moros. So Dapitan was at that point between the what is called the Christian Philippines and the Moro Philippines. So that is a no man's land. And Rizal was able to develop it. Rizal was able to put forth a viable community, and that is something that we're trying to imbibe in the youth. As a youth leader, you're supposed to do this, and your outlook towards the community should be like this. It's not just about
Yes.
aggrandizing yourself, earning yourself $15 million, and then wala na, bahala na kayo sa buhay nyo, kanya-kanya na tayo. So it doesn't work that way. That
Yeah.
there's got to be some social aspect to whatever it is that
That's
you're
right.
that you're gaining.
Of course, since then, since Rizal time, during Rizal's time, it was he was banished there, and it was
Mm-hmm,
punishment actually. But of course,
mm-hmm,
after since Rizal's time, the area, the Mindanao area has, of course, developed and
mm-hmm,
has changed from the or how Rizal saw it back then. But of course,
mm-hmm.
this just goes to show that even the most dire situation, just like where Rizal was, you can still be a part of
Yeah,
SDG growth.
and that is where
And
the kind of leadership that we're trying to imbibe with the youth. Na just because everything looks dire, everything seems to be bad. You just throw in the towel and just join the bandwagon. It's bad. So no, you have to do something about it to improve the situation.
is there
So
any student that touched your heart that made you that left an impression on you in this time around? If you can maybe pinpoint one or two
actually,
students.
the thing was I never knew, not really a student, but it was my 3-year-old daughter. I didn't know that she did it because I was going to give the inspirational talk during the wreath laying ceremony that morning. While the photographer was able to capture my daughter doing the lupang hinirang with her hand on the left breast and doing the panunumpa sa watawat. And we never taught her that. She's too young to understand what the lupang hinirang was and the
Yeah.
panunumpa sa watawat. But the photographer, our official photographer, was able to catch it, and he was able to tell me, "Sir, look at your daughter." And she just followed what her ates and his kuyas were doing. And I mentioned this to my speech. Look at that radiant respect, radiant patriotism, that ray of hope that you could actually imbibe to someone who's a 3-year-old kid who could understand that this is something important that we're doing. And I
In
also told the students that this should not just be a sweet memory. This should be a sweet memory, and that it should be acted upon. when you go back to your places.
Now, in this NRYLI, sir, how do you think the technology, the Facebook, the multimedia, the social, in Instagram and all that? How did you think? What do you think is the impact of that in NRYLI as a whole?
It's a great impact, Sir Alwin, compared to what we had before, mimeographing machines and risographing machines. Right now, even in this conversation that we're having, people will be looking at what NRYLI is, what NRYLI 2022 is all about. And I have seen some student journalists who came up to me and they said, "Sir, we really liked your speech. We're going to follow through with it. We have created community chat groups regarding NRYLI, and even when we were doing NRYLI social media blitzes, I think that's also a very good way of reaching out to the youth. Instagram, FB, making noise that this NRYLI is happening now."
Sir, in this NRYLI 2022, are there any metrics that would show you if how you did as far as the impact of the programs?
As far as the KPIs are concerned, we don't really have a KPI that really set forth. However, the Rizal Center Foundation has their own, more like a rating guidelines that they came up with, and we acceded to that study, because after the NRYLI, students are going to evaluate the programs, are going to evaluate how it impacted them and how it should be improved moving forward. I haven't seen the report yet. It's still being consolidated by the Rizal Center Foundation. I told him it's better that RCF does it rather than the Knights of Rizal, because it may be kind of self-serving if we're the ones doing it. It's like auditing yourself. So we need to balance on. So might as well have somebody third party do it and present it to us, and in that way, it's more believable. It's believable, and it's been done it's done without bias.
With the success of this 60th NRYLI, sir, what are the maybe lasting changes you think, or that should be institutionalized in the planning aspect? Because I know that's very and I know that like you said, as late as November, wala pa sa kalahati yung lumabas, ano? So are there any room for improvements? And from what you've learned now, and I know you're going to be part of the 61st NRYLI, is there anything that you could have done better, I guess, or improved upon?
If we could have started, I recommended to the Supreme Commander that we start the ball running, or at least a technical working group planning the 61st NRYLI February. Let's just finish January, because there's a lot of carryover of Rizalian activities from the Rizal month. Let's start February. Let's start working on that. Let's start getting the endorsements from DepEd, getting endorsements from Commission on Higher Education. These endorsements are critical, and yet these are the kind of papers that would probably take you 45 to 60 days to procure. I don't know, but it's probably only one person signing, but it takes them that amount of time. So, but anyway, once we got that, we should be able to send out immediate invites to all schools, community organizations, sororities, fraternities that cater to the youth as early as now, because as private schools and state colleges, they do their budget hearings April, May. So if you're going to receive the letter by June, your budget is pretty fixed already. So what they're going to do is that they'll just probably look into where excess budgets are coming from, and then put together all the spare change to raise the money for NRYLI, which is, to me, that's not really being a priority, because you're just going to get chump change from every item. So if we're able to do this, state college authorities, I mean principals, presidents, can actually put NRYLI on the budget. let's say we're going to put people, we're going to send 10 people for this. They already have a budget for that. Kung
Mhm.
magkulang man is that they could always ask for assistance. But the important thing is there is a set budget.
Now, is there any in the planning process, sir? I'm thinking, how can the foreign or either local chapters, the local and foreign KOR chapters help?
Mhm.
What would be their how do they play a part in this planning process?
Very critical, particularly the local one. The local one, because they're the ones in touch with the state colleges and universities and private schools and private and public schools that are in their community. The moment that they're partnering, like Balik Escuela, supporting students that are they're giving them support and whatever, they can actually start talking to the principals that we have this program during December. Can you put up a budget for this? And some of our brother knights are actually members of the PTA. They're sending their kids to the public school system. So we should be able to stir up some activity in favor of the NRYLI. So and school principals that are very close to chapters, local chapters here in the Philippines, can definitely act on it. Now, the foreign chapters, basically, the foreign chapters can do twofold. One, they can support a local school or a community organization here in the Philippines, or probably send their own delegation.
Yes, it's interesting, sir, because I know I know of a group here. They call themselves the alumni of the NRYLI,
Mm,
and they are based in New Jersey. Maybe that's one group that we could
we
ask
could tap, yeah.
we could tap because they are products of the
Mm.
NRYLI programs. And now, sir, I would like to thank you for this opportunity, sir. Do you have any last words, sir, for the audience listening?
Well, for our brother nines, let us support our National Rizal Youth Leadership Institute. It has always been our centerpiece for our leadership training for our youths. Sinasabi natin 60 years, is there any really change in Riley? Is there really this? Well, let me tell you this: for the past 60 years, we already have mayors, congressmen who have been Riley alumni. You also have mentioned there is a group there in New Jersey who are Riley alumni. We have knights that have been Riley alumni, and change comes in trickles. We need to keep this constant change happening. We don't see an overnight success, and Rome was not built in a day. My only request is that we continue to support Riley, no matter what politics you have, no matter what issues you have, be in the Supreme Council. The Riley is something that we really should keep running for the next probably next 100 200 years.
Oh, very, very, and I guess with your background and your support and your leadership that you're providing, we're looking forward for the 61st and Riley. Hopefully,
Yes, sir. Actually, just
we
a teaser right now, because I know they're going to hear this. 61st and Riley, we would be now showcasing choir competitions, and probably Sir Charlie Corilan from Rotterdam chapter has already committed to do a acting workshop. So this is going to be more. There's going to be culture subjects coming in on Riley, and this is something that the National Council for Culture and Arts would be very happy to see too.
That's very nice. That's very nice. Looks like everything is expanding with all the networks that we have and all the foresight that those who are in charge have,
Mhm.
specifically you. Uh, and so, on that note, sir, I would like to thank you for your service to the Knights of Rizal. I know you've been part of the and Riley in the previous years. Like I said, the 39th, 40, and 41st. And there was a time that we had 2 NRYLIs in three week interval.
Sessions. Yeah.
Yeah, but so thank you again for your help, and hopefully we're looking forward for the 61st.
We're also looking forward for all your support. Thank you, my brother Knights.
In that regard, sir, Nanom Nis Moriar.
Nanom Nis Moriar.
Well, once again, thank you very much, KR Universe, for listening. I hope that you have learned a little bit about the NRYLI that happened this month of December. And we are looking forward to the NRYLI 61st next year in 2023. And if you have any questions or queries about last NRYLI and the upcoming NRYLI, just type in your questions on the Facebook, and if I don't have the answers, we'll find somebody with the answers. Other than that, thank you for listening, and Anam Nis Moriar.